everybody. It's been a little bit since I made a video, just haven't been getting, haven't had the time. But I'm back now, here to talk about some records. I'm just gonna go right into it. Let's do it. Let's go. First one I want to show you is a fairly recent release. I think it's only like 2 weeks out now, maybe just one. I don't know, but it's one of my favorites I've heard this year. This is the new Stella Donnelly album, Beware of the Dogs. I've talked about her on the channel before because I have her EP on vinyl, Thrush Metal, which is a fantastic EP. That one differs from this album a little bit though, because this is her obviously her debut full length. It's on Secretly Canadian, because that album was extremely sparse. It was just vocals and guitar for the most part, I believe. And going into this album, some of the first singles that came out had full bands, bass, guitar, drums, the whole deal. And it was just based off the first single, Old Man, I was in love with this. I was ready and excited for this album to come out because that single is just amazing. The lyrics, the guitars, the hook at the end, it's great. And I was not disappointed. I've been listening to this thing on repeat for a couple weeks, I guess, since it came out. And yeah, it's up there now with one of my favorites of the year, with that James Blake album that came out earlier the year and the new Jessica Pratt album. These three are kind of like my top three right now. But yeah, this is a fantastic indie rock, indie pop, singer-songwriter album. If you're looking for some good tracks, I would say Old Man definitely. Tricks is fantastic. Boys Will Be Boys, which was on her EPs. I want to call it out still because it's an amazing, amazing song. Beware of the Dogs, the title track is amazing. Yeah, it's just a very, very good, like, kind of indie rock singer-songwriter album. There's the back cover, front cover. The vinyl, got a nice sleeve there. The vinyl is like a solid, like nice, like olive green kind of. At least that's how they described it. Very, very nice. I'm very much enjoying this album. Alright, next up, we're going back to last year. One of the best albums from that year. I got a copy of Joy as an Act of Resistance from IDLES. It is rare that you hear a rock album and a punk album this fucking visceral and fantastic nowadays. This record's just incredible if you haven't heard it. Yeah, they're a British rock band, punk-ish band, that are just loud and crazy and funny and catchy as all hell. I just got the standard version. There was a big deluxe version that came out, but I didn't want to spend $40 on it. I just wanted, good old record there, just black record. Sleeves pretty basic, just the lyrics on the back and front. The back is pretty weird. Some weird waxy dude having a heart attack. Interesting choice. But yeah, if you have not heard this album and you're a fan of any sort of rock music, listen to this. Listen to fucking Colossus. Listen to Never Fight a Man with a Perm. My favorite track on here. Actually, now that I say that out loud, I don't know. Danny Nadelko is fantastic. I love Love Song. Which one is it? Samaritans. I love that song. Rottweiler, Cry to Me. It's just fantastic. It was one of the best albums that came out last year, period. And I think more people need to hear this. It's so good. Alright. Moving on from that. An album that came out very, very recently, but still last year, back in December. This is Some Rap Songs by Earl Sweatshirt. If I had heard this album earlier in the year, it might have been my favorite album of the year. It might have passed Mitski's Be the Cowboy. This album is fucking fantastic. Obviously, I've talked about Earl Sweatshirt before. He hip-hop artist. Just part of... used to be part of Odd Future, Wolfgang Kill Them All. Tyler, the Creator. All that stuff. He did something on this album that is so incredible. The music is so unique. There's not an album that's like this. When I get into a vibe with this album and I want to listen to this album and I finish it, because it's a short album. I think it's like 22, 27, 28 minutes long. When I listen to this album, I just want to listen to something similar, and there's almost nothing that I can find. I just want to listen to it again, basically. And God, I've just been listening to it so much recently, and it's so fantastic. The songs are just sad and dark and beautiful. The production is so, it feels like somebody's muffling your ears. Everything's so lo-fi, but it adds to the feel of the album. The record's just on black sleeve. I believe that's a picture of his father right there. I think there's actually a poem by his father. And yeah, just it's one of the best hip hop albums I've heard probably this decade. And I think because it was released at the end of the year, people didn't appreciate it as much or didn't have time to appreciate it as much. But yeah, this is something else. Like, there's very few albums that can compare to this. I am in love with this album. Listen to Nowhere to Go. Listen to The Mint. Peanut. Or not Peanut. What's the good one? Possum. Playing Possum. That is heartbreaking. Just the way he layers over a speech by his mother and his father reciting a poem. The way he layers those over each other and plays on each other, it's beautiful. And the instrumental track that closes everything out, Riot, gorgeous. It's nearly perfect. And I didn't realize it when I first heard it because it came out so recently, and that's why it wasn't like top 10 on my favorites of the year. But like, oh my god, it's something else. Everybody should listen to this album. Please do yourself a favor. All right, next one. Getting out of stuff from like this year and last year for now. We got some Arctic Monkeys. This is Suck It and See. Arctic Monkeys was a band I was into for a very long time. And when I started getting into like reviews and being more critical about music, I started moving away from them because I saw other people not liking them and I was like, oh, I must not like them either. But now that I'm out of that bullshit and I can make my own decisions and my own opinions, I have come back to this band and I fucking love them. This is the only one I have right now. I'm planning on getting at least their first 5 records. I haven't listened to Tranquility, whatever the name of that album is. I haven't listened to that enough to know if I like it or not. But their first 5 albums are all great. Every single one. Especially their first 2. Those are probably my favorite, I would say. But yeah, this one is... when they were starting to get out of like the more dirtier, punkier sound and were trying to write more ballady stuff that you would find more polished on AM. But there's some great songs on here. Some of my favorite songs end up here, and some of my least favorite songs end up on this one. This was just the one I was listening to at the times when I picked it up. So, like, She's Thunderstorms, Hellcat Spangled Sha-La-La, All My Own Stunts, Reckless Serenade, Pile Driver Waltz. I love all those songs. And then you play Don't Sit Down 'Cause I've Moved Your Chair. And I hate that song so much. I hate it. It's just the lyrics are so dumb. And Love is a Laser Quest, that is the most lazy song in their entire career. It sounds like nothing. The lyrics are fine, but everything surrounding it is boring. And so, but yeah, this is there's some fun stuff on here, and that's why I want it. It's a nostalgia trip for me, but at the same time, it's still quality. I think the record's just on black, so yeah, just on black, and then there's a little thing with all the lyrics, and then that little dude right there. I'm not sure who that is. It might be Alex. Yeah. If you like Arctic Monkeys, I would say definitely start with their first album. Or if you want to get into Arctic Monkeys, I should say. Definitely start with their first album. That's their best. If you disagree with me, I'll come fight you. Anyway. Next one. I have the Sugarcubes. Life's Too Good. I'm not sure which one of them. I think this might be their first album. But this is, if you don't know, is one of Bjork's first bands. Not her. I don't think it was her first, but this is her first like big break into the musical world. It's a post-punk album out of Iceland, of course. And it's such a strange album. Just the vocals, like Bjork's always had strange, amazing vocals. But in the context of like a post-punk album, they feel so right. Like they work so well. She can, do these very beautiful, beautiful vocal passages and then just scream her brains out, like on Birthday. She's just going fucking crazy on that part, and it's wonderful. I think this came out in like late '80s, I want to say. But yeah, there's some great tracks in here. And then the other guy in the band, the fucking I don't know what his name is. The guy who has the weird voice, where he's always like just speaking like spoken word, but he's always saying the weirdest shit. Sometimes I question it sometimes. Sometimes I'm not that much of a fan of it. But yeah, there's some. I mean, like Motor Crash, Birthday of that is a beautiful song. Delicious Demon, Fucking in Rhythm and Sorrow, hell yeah. The album art is pretty crazy. Just a bunch of stick figures with dicks and vaginas and boobs. Great, it's great. I love it. I think there's a cat with a dick, and that's the band. And the record's just gone black. Yeah, if you want some good weirdo post-punk, definitely give this a shot. I think any Bjork fan should listen to this album if they haven't. And lastly, I have an album from Milo. This is Who Told You to Think. This is an album that came out, I want to say, in 2016. It's a hip-hop album, kind of a left-field underground hip-hop album. If you're familiar with Open Mike Eagle or Elucid or Bus Driver, you've probably heard him on one of their tracks. He's collaborated with all of them before. But yeah, this is a fantastic kind of left-field, like I said, underground hip-hop album with a lot of character, a lot of creativity in this. And just the way he writes his lyrics is very unique to him. Very, very referential, but his references scatter all around the board. He references, at one point, Pokemon Go on this album. At one point, he references Nabokov, like I believe is a Russian author. He references Godspeed You Black Emperor. He references athletes. He's all over the board, but it's so him. It doesn't feel like a gimmick. It just feels like the way he writes. And he does it in such a poetic way that it doesn't feel like a gimmick. It's a great album. If you want to get a taste for how this album kind of feels, listen to the song Embroidering Machine or Ornette's Swan Song with Self Jupiter. Yet Another is a good posse cut. Call and Form, Poet, Black Bean. There's a lot of really just interesting songs. But I think this album is actually best enjoyed just in full. A lot of the tracks really flow together in a way and are a little bit short, where you don't really want to listen to them individually. It's really much an album kind of album. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, what I just said. But yeah, the only one that really stands out on its own is Rapper featuring Bus Driver. That's a fantastic song. Everybody should listen to that. But yeah, definitely check out Milo. I feel like people who actually like that Earl Sweatshirt album would probably be really into this. But yeah, definitely check out Milo. He's fantastic. And I think record's just lyrics there. Ruby Yacht, that's his label down there. And then the record's just on black. Alright, I think that's good for today. Hopefully I will be back soon to give you some more videos. And I hope you have a lovely day.